What happens when distance tries to break the bond between a mother and daughter? Sometimes, a single phone call can carry the weight of love, longing, and everything left unsaid. Belly may be in Paris, surrounded by beauty, but her heart reaches for the one person who has always been her safe place, her mom, Laurel. This moment is more than just a conversation. It's a reminder that no matter how far you travel, home is only one call away. Paris is glowing at night. The streets are alive with light, laughter, and the rhythm of people moving as if they belong to a grand picture. Belly is there, in the middle of this city that feels like a dream, yet something inside her feels quiet and heavy. She has walked past the cafes, the bookstores, the Eiffel Tower shining against the sky, but none of it eases the weight she carries. That weight is the silence between her and her mom, Laurel. It's been days since they last spoke, and for Belly, those days feel longer than they should. She sits by the window in her small Paris apartment. The glass is cool against her hand as she presses her fingers to it. The city outside looks like a painting, beautiful but distant, untouchable. Inside, she feels alone. It isn't the kind of loneliness that comes from being without friends. It's the deeper kind, the one that comes when you miss the sound of someone's voice, the comfort of knowing they are close. Even if they are miles away. Belly's phone rests on the table, screen glowing faintly. Her thumb hovers over the contact name Mom. She hesitates, not because she doesn't want to call, but because she knows that hearing Laurel's voice will unlock every feeling she's been holding back. Paris has been exciting, yes, but it's also been overwhelming. And for Belly, when things feel too heavy, the first person she wants to reach out to is her mom. She remembers their last talk. Laurel had been calm, steady as always, but there had been a trace of worry in her tone. Belly could tell. Mothers have a way of hiding their fears while making you feel like everything will be okay. But distance makes even the strongest bonds stretch thin. That thought makes Belly pick up the phone. Her hand trembles slightly as she presses the call button. The ringing tone fills the silence of the room. Each second feels longer, each ring pulling her closer to home in a way that Paris cannot. And then it happens. Laurel's voice breaks through the line. Warm, familiar, strong. It's not just a greeting. It's a bridge across oceans, pulling Belly back to where she feels safe. In that instant, Belly isn't just a girl in Paris. She's a daughter, reaching for her mom, needing the comfort only Laurel can give. The world outside her window continues to glow, but inside, the glow now comes from a voice that makes her feel less alone. This is where the story begins. Not in Paris, not in the lights, but in the invisible thread that ties a daughter to her mother. A call that carries love across miles, reminding us that no matter where we go, some connections never fade. The sound of Laurel's voice fills the quiet Paris apartment. And for a moment, Belly forgets she is thousands of miles away. It's soft but steady, carrying a strength that Belly has leaned on her whole life. Laurel says her name, just one simple word, Belly, but it feels like more than a greeting. It feels like warmth wrapping around her, a reminder that no matter how far she goes, she is never out of reach. Belly exhales, realizing she has been holding her breath since the phone started ringing. Her lips tremble as she tries to answer, and all she can manage at first is, "Hi, Mom." The words are small, almost fragile, but Laurel hears everything hidden behind them. The homesickness, the exhaustion, the longing. Mothers always do. There's a pause, not an uncomfortable silence, but the kind of pause that carries weight. Laurel's voice comes again, gentle yet grounding. "I've been waiting for your call." Those words hit Belly harder than she expected. She had been so caught up in the newness of Paris to classes, the sights, the people, that she hadn't realized how much Laurel might be waiting on the other end of the silence. That thought alone makes her chest tighten. Belly tries to sound casual, tries to keep her emotions tucked away, but her voice betrays her. I wanted to hear you." She looks out the window again, watching the city lights blur through tears she didn't expect to fall. Paris is beautiful, but right now all she wants is the comfort of her mom's kitchen. The smell of coffee brewing in the morning. The familiar creak of the floorboards back home. On the other side of the line, Laurel listens. She doesn't rush to fill the silence or push for words Belly isn't ready to say. Instead, she lets her daughter breathe, lets her take her time. That patience is a gift, one Belly doesn't even realize she needs. Finally, Laurel's voice breaks through again, calm and steady. Tell me everything. It's a simple invitation, but in those words, Belly feels permission to let go, to stop pretending she's perfectly fine and to just be honest. She starts talking about the busy streets, about the way Paris smells like fresh bread and rain, about the laughter of strangers and the loneliness that hides in between the noise. Her voice trembles at times, steady at others, but with each word, she feels the distance between them shrink. She tells Laurel how the city is beautiful but overwhelming, how sometimes she feels small in a place so big, and how she wishes she could press pause on it all just to sit at home again. Laurel listens the way only a mother can, without judgment, without interruption, with quiet strength. Every hem, every soft sigh on the line tells Belly that she's being heard, that even across an ocean she isn't invisible. For Belly, this call isn't just about sharing stories of Paris, it's about anchoring herself, about finding balance between who she is becoming and who she has always been. And as the call continues, she realizes something important, no matter how far she goes. Her mom's voice will always feel like home as Belly keeps talking. She feels the emotions she's been holding back begin to surface. Paris has been everything she dreamed of: romantic, vibrant, alive, but it hasn't been easy. Beneath the excitement, there's a quiet ache that follows her everywhere. She doesn't say it outright at first, but the way her voice falters tells the truth. She misses home. She misses the simple comfort of knowing she belongs. Sitting there in her little apartment, Belly realizes that Paris makes her feel both grown up and lost at the same time. During the day, she walks the busy streets, tries new foods, and practices her French. But at night, when the noise dies down, the silence creeps in. That's when the homesickness hits hardest. It's not just about missing a place. It's about missing the people who made that place feel like hers. She confesses to Laurel in a low voice, "It's beautiful here, but sometimes it feels like I don't fit." The words are heavy, because Belly has always wanted to be seen as strong, as someone who could handle herself no matter where she went. But now, admitting this out loud feels both scary and freeing. It's the kind of honesty that only happens in conversations like these, when the heart speaks louder than pride. As she talks, Belly remembers the moments that led her here, the summer nights at Cousin's Beach, the love that left her confused, the choices that pulled her in different directions. Leaving for Paris was supposed to be a new start, a way to find herself. But finding yourself doesn't mean leaving behind who you were, means carrying those pieces with you, no matter how far you go. And right now, she feels the weight of those pieces. Her voice softens, almost breaking. "Sometimes I just want to come home." It isn't a plan or a decision. It's a feeling, a yearning. Because even though Paris is magical, home is where her heart can rest. In that moment, Belly isn't just a girl living abroad. She's a daughter, searching for balance between independence and connection. She wants to grow, to explore, to embrace everything life has to offer, but she also wants to hold on to the safety of her roots. And that tug-of-war inside her is what makes this phone call so important. Laurel doesn't need to say much. Just knowing she's on the other end of the line gives Belly the strength to voice what she's been carrying. The tears that slide down her cheeks aren't just from sadness, they're from release. The release of knowing she doesn't have to pretend, not with her mom. For Belly, Paris has been a lesson in contrasts, freedom and loneliness, beauty and emptiness, growth and longing. And as she speaks, she realizes that all these feelings are part of the journey. She doesn't have to choose between them. She just has to let herself feel them. By the time she pauses, wiping her tears with the back of her hand, Belly feels lighter. The ache is still there, but it isn't as heavy. Because in speaking her truth, she's reminded herself of something vital. No matter where she is, she's never truly alone. On the other side of the line, Laurel sits in her quiet home, holding the phone close to her ear. She can hear every tremble in Belly's voice, every pause that hides unspoken feelings. A mother always knows. Laurel doesn't interrupt, doesn't rush her daughter to finish. Instead, she listens with her whole heart, letting Belly pour out everything she has been keeping inside. When Belly falls silent, Laurel finally speaks. Her voice is steady, the kind of steady that has carried Belly through storms since she was little. "You don't have to be strong all the time," Laurel says softly. "It's okay to feel lost. It's okay to miss home." Those words settled deep in Belly's chest. She didn't realize how badly she needed to hear them. In Paris, surrounded by strangers, she has been carrying herself like someone who needs to prove she belongs. But here, in this moment, her mom reminds her that she doesn't need to prove anything. She just needs to be herself. Laurel's tone carries warmth, but also concern. She can picture Belly sitting in her apartment, eyes watery, heart heavy. And though she wishes she could reach across the miles and hold her, Laurel knows that her words have to do the work. "I'm proud of you," she adds, her voice firmer now. "You're brave for being there, brave for trying. But you don't have to pretend it's easy." Belly presses the phone tighter against her ear, as if she could somehow climb through the line and be in the same room with her mom. The comfort she feels isn't just in the words, but in the way Laurel says them. Every syllable is filled with love, with understanding, with the kind of patience only a mother can give. Laurel doesn't ignore the ache she hears in Belly's voice. Instead, she leans into it, offering her daughter space to be vulnerable. She asks gentle questions about her days, about the people she's met, about the little details that make up Belly's life in Paris. Not because she needs answers, but because she knows that talking will help Belly feel grounded again in her heart. Laurel wishes she could be there, walking those Paris streets with her, making sure she never feels alone. But she also knows that part of being a mother is allowing her child to grow, to stumble, to find her own strength. It isn't easy, but Laurel hides her own ache behind a calm, reassuring tone. "Do you remember," she says softly, "the first time you went away for camp? You cried the first night and you told me you wanted to come home. But then, by the end of the week, you didn't want to leave. You found your place. You always do." The memory makes Belly smile through her tears. It's a small smile, but it's real. Laurel knows exactly what to say, pulling strength from the past to remind Belly of who she is. She's not just a girl in Paris. She's a girl who has always found her way. No matter how lost she felt at the start, in that moment, Laurel becomes more than just a mother's voice. She becomes an anchor. A reminder that no matter how far away Belly is, she is still tethered to love, to home. To the people who believe in her, by the time Laurel finishes speaking, Belly feels calmer. The storm inside her hasn't disappeared, but it doesn't rage as strongly anymore. Her mom's words are like a lighthouse, steady, unshaken. It's guiding her back whenever she feels lost in the dark. As the call goes on, something becomes clear. Distance has placed an ocean between Belly and Laurel, yet the connection between them feels stronger than ever. The miles don't erase the bond, they test it, stretch it, and in some ways, make it shine brighter. Belly looks out at Paris once more, the city glittering beneath the night sky. Everything outside feels foreign, different language, different culture, different rhythm of life. And yet, through the phone, she hears something familiar, something unchanging. Laurel's voice is the steady heartbeat that reminds her she isn't floating aimlessly in this new world. This is what connection really means. It isn't about being in the same room or sharing the same meal. It's about knowing that someone will always answer when you call. It's about trust, about love that doesn't weaken even when it's stretched thin across continents. For Belly, Paris may represent freedom, but Laurel represents home. And both are pieces of who she is becoming. She realizes something. Important as the conversation flows, distance doesn't break bonds, it reveals them. It shows you which ties are strong enough to survive the silence, which voices can cut through loneliness, which hearts still beat in rhythm with yours even when you're far apart. Laurel's love isn't bound by geography. It travels through every word, every pause, every quiet reassurance. Belly's feelings shift as she thinks about it. What once felt like isolation now feels like proof of connection. Yes, she is far away. Yes, she misses home, but the call reminds her that she carries home within her. That her mom's presence isn't limited to a place, it's something she can feel no matter where she goes. For Laurel, the distance teaches her something too. It shows her that her daughter is growing, stepping into her own life, and still turning back to her for comfort. It's the balance every parent hopes for. To see their child find independence but still know they are needed. The conversation becomes more than just a call between mother and daughter. It becomes a lesson about love itself. Love doesn't vanish when stretched by distance. Instead, it adapts, it travels, it reaches. It turns into words spoken through a phone, into memories that cross oceans, into comfort that arrives even when miles stand in the way. Belly whispers softly, "I feel closer to you right now than I have in days," and it's true. Because connection is not about proximity, it's about presence. And Laurel, even from afar, has been fully present for her daughter, grounding her in a way that Paris never could. As the night deepens, Belly understands something she didn't before. She doesn't have to choose between exploring new worlds and holding on to the old one. She can do both. She can stand on Paris streets with a heart full of wonder and still carry her mother's voice as a compass. The theme of distance and connection plays out not just in this call, but in Belly's entire journey. It's about learning that you can stretch yourself far and wide, but you don't lose the roots that keep you steady. And sometimes the further you go, the more clearly you feel the strength of those roots pulling you back toward love. There comes a moment in every conversation when the weight of silence holds more meaning than words. For Belly and Laurel, that moment arrives quietly, almost unexpectedly. Belly's voice has been steady, but now it begins to tremble, carrying the truth she's been trying to keep inside. Her eyes sting. As she looks away from the glowing lights of Paris, she swallows hard. And then the words slip out, words so simple, yet so heavy. "I miss you, Mom." The line falls still after she says it. No background noise from Paris, no clatter from Laurel's home, just those 4 words echoing across the distance, carrying every unspoken feeling with them: loneliness, love, longing, and the fragile strength of a daughter learning to grow while still needing her mother. Laurel hears them and feels them, like a hand reaching through the phone. She closes her eyes, remembering the years of raising Belly, the moments of laughter and arguments, the summers at the beach house, the milestones that shaped them both. Her heart aches with the knowledge that her daughter is far away, but at the same time, she feels proud that Belly has the courage to say it aloud. "Sweetheart," Laurel responds, her voice soft but firm, "I miss you too." The way she says it, with no hesitation, no doubt, fills the silence with warmth. For Belly, it's as if the miles shrink in an instant. She isn't just a girl sitting alone in a Paris apartment anymore. She's a daughter being held, even if only through words. Tears slip down her cheeks. She doesn't wipe them away right away. They are a release, a reminder that missing someone isn't weakness, it's proof of love. The vulnerability of admitting it becomes the strength of connection. In this moment, the call transforms. It's no longer about updates or casual conversation. It's about the pure honesty of a bond that doesn't break. Belly realizes that no matter how far she goes, she will always carry her mom with her. And Laurel realizes that no matter how grown her daughter becomes, she will always be needed. This simple confession, "I miss you, Mom," becomes the emotional highlight of the entire call. It's the kind of moment that resonates with anyone who has ever been far from home, anyone who has ever felt the ache of missing a parent, a sibling, or a friend. It's universal, and it's deeply personal all at once. For viewers of Belly's story, this moment lingers. It reminds us that the most powerful lines aren't always grand declarations. Sometimes it's the softest words, spoken in vulnerability, that hold the most weight. By the time the silence breaks, both Belly and Laurel feel lighter. The call doesn't erase the distance, but it reminds them of something much stronger, the unshakable bond of love. And for Belly, that knowledge is enough to carry her through another night in Paris. After the words "I miss you" echo into the silence, something shifts in Belly's heart. The tears on her cheeks slow, replaced by a small, quiet smile. Talking to her mom brings back memories, moments tucked away like photographs. She can replay whenever she needs comfort. She thinks back to childhood mornings, when she would stumble sleepily into the kitchen, hair messy, eyes half closed, only to find Laurel already there with a warm mug of coffee and a book in hand. She remembers the smell of toast, the hum of the kettle, the way her mom always looked up and smiled the second she walked in. Those small details suddenly feel monumental now. Standing so far from home, nostalgia floods her as she recalls summers at Cousins Beach, the laughter with Conrad and Jeremiah, the sunsets that painted the sky, the sand stuck between her toes. She remembers her mom's voice calling out from the porch, reminding her not to stay out too late, reminding her that home was always waiting no matter how far she roamed down the beach. Those moments, once taken for granted, now feel priceless, but mixed with the nostalgia is something else: growth. Belly realizes that she isn't the same girl she used to be, the one who clung to every moment, afraid of change, afraid of losing what she loved. Paris has tested her, pushed her, stretched her in ways she didn't expect. She has learned to navigate strange streets, to find comfort in unfamiliar places, to face loneliness and still keep moving forward. She whispers into the phone, half to herself and half to Laurel. "I think I'm changing here." It isn't said with fear, but with wonder. Growth isn't easy, it aches, it challenges, it sometimes feels like breaking. But in this moment, Belly sees that it also builds. Each new experience, each trial of being away from home, is shaping her into someone stronger, someone more complete. Laurel listens quietly, proud but emotional. She knows this is what growing up looks like. It's the bittersweet mix of missing the past while stepping bravely into the future. And she knows that no matter how much Belly changes, the bond between them will remain the same. Belly feels it too. The nostalgia isn't just a longing. It's a reminder of the foundation her mother gave her. Every lesson, every word of comfort, every look of encouragement has built the strength she now carries into this new chapter. Paris may feel overwhelming at times, but it has also shown her just how capable she is. The call becomes a bridge between past and present. The girl who once cried at camp is the same girl now living in Paris, and yet she isn't the same at all. She's evolving, and for the first time, she begins to see her growth not as something scary, but as something beautiful. By the end of this part of the conversation, Belly feels a sense of balance. Nostalgia reminds her of where she came from, while growth shows her where she is heading. And as she leans back against the window, phone pressed to her ear, she realizes that both past and future are tied together by the one thing that never changes: love. But then, there's a pause. A silence that feels heavier than words. Laurel doesn't rush to fill it, and Belly doesn't either. Sometimes the hardest part of a conversation is the quiet moments in between. For a second, it feels like all the distance between Paris and Cousins Beach disappears, and they're just two people, mother and daughter, facing the same pain, even if they are thousands of miles apart. Belly takes a deep breath, her voice softer now. She tells Laurel that she's scared. Scared of the changes, scared of losing the people she loves, scared of what comes next. It's the kind of honesty that only comes when you're too tired to hide anymore. Laurel listens, her face unreadable at first, but her eyes reveal everything: sadness, love, and the unspoken wish that she could take away all of Belly's fears. This pause, this silence, is not empty. It's full of meaning. It's the kind of moment where both of them realize that words aren't always enough, but being there, staying on the line, is what matters most. The silence doesn't last forever. Belly, still fighting her emotions, finally lets out the words she's been holding back. She says she feels abandoned, not just by Conrad and Jeremiah, but by her own mother. The words come out sharper than she means. But that's what happens when hurt mixes with love. It cuts. Laurel freezes for a moment. She doesn't defend herself right away. Instead, her eyes well up, though her voice stays steady. She tells Belly that leaving for Paris wasn't about running away. It was about finding a way to survive, to breathe again, to write again. But to Belly, it feels like an excuse. She can't stop herself from saying it. The tension on the call is thick now, heavier than before. Belly's tears turn into frustration. Laurel's calm turns into quiet heartbreak. Both of them want the same thing, to feel close again, but the distance is more than miles. It's in the words they don't say, and the ones that slip out too harshly in this moment. The cracks in their relationship show, not because they don't care, but because they care too much. Laurel takes a deep breath, her voice breaking the tension. She tells Belly something she hasn't said out loud before, that Paris wasn't about escape, it was about survival. She admits that every corner of Cousins Beach reminded her of Susanna, and that staying there felt like drowning in memories. Her words are steady, but there's a rawness that Belly has never heard from her before. Belly listens, stunned. For the first time, she realizes that her mother isn't just the strong, unshakable woman she's always looked up to. Laurel is human, and she's grieving too. She explains that writing in Paris gave her a chance to keep breathing, to keep moving. Even when her heart felt like it had stopped. The vulnerability in Laurel's voice softens something inside Belly. She wipes her tears, finally understanding that Laurel's distance wasn't rejection, it was pain. And in that moment, the space between them feels a little smaller. The walls built by silence and misunderstanding start to crumble, replaced by a fragile but real connection. It's the first step toward healing. But it's also a reminder. Love doesn't mean being perfect for each other, it means showing up, even broken, and choosing to stay. For the first time in the entire call, Belly lets her guard down completely. She whispers, almost like a child again, that she misses her mom. Her voice cracks, and it's clear these words have been waiting for the right moment. Laurel's face softens instantly, her own tears sliding down without resistance. She tells Belly that she misses her too, more than she can ever explain. There's no dramatic music, no sudden solution, just honesty. Laurel admits that she should have called sooner, that she let her fear of saying the wrong thing keep her away. Belly admits that she's been angry, but underneath that anger was only hurt. Slowly, carefully, they begin to bridge the distance with small truths. The tone of their voices shifts. The sharp edges fade, replaced with warmth. Laurel tells Belly that no matter how far she travels, Cousins, Belly, and home will always be inside her. And Belly, through tears and shaky laughter, tells her mom that she still needs her, maybe now more than ever. This isn't a full fix. They both know healing takes time. But in that moment, the love between mother and daughter finally feels louder than the pain.